You did Allen Iverson's first commercial.
It wasn't his first commercial. It was the only one he showed up to.
Well,
Chuck, I love you, Chuck.
The man did say practice. Not a game, but practice. So the likelihood you get him showing for a commercial was going to be tough.
He showed up to the commercial, and it was a very special thing that will, the commercial with him and Jadakiss, man, it played on radio like a song. It became a song. It was Allen Iverson bouncing a ball, creating a beat that Jadakiss rapped to.
Right.
And when I did that, Hype Williams, who's a great music director, at the time he shot a lot of music videos. He dominated shooting music videos. Shot that. No one thought he could shoot commercials at the time. Why? I still have no idea why that was even a thought. And we shot that commercial, and it was, part of the package of talking about rebranding. We had to. Reebok was Skips. Let me be very clear. You know what Skips are? And people, I don't wear those. Those are Skips.
Yeah.
You don't want to wear those.
You're right.
Right.
You skip those and find something else.
You skip something and find something else. Those are Reeboks. We had to rebrand that. Part of it was changing the letters to RBK.
Okay.
Jay-Z, obviously, and 50 Cent and all of that stuff. And then it was AI and Jadakiss. So we did work around AI and Jadakiss. We did another spot with Stevie Francis and Scarface at the time.
Yeah.
That wasn't as successful. But we were doing this thing to fuse music and sport together. Because my whole thing was like every rapper wanted to be a basketball player and basketball player wanted to be a rapper. And that's less true than it was back then, today. But because of that, I wanted to create marketing and advertising around that fusion. And that was the way we rebranded Reebok.
Right. How were you able to convince Jay-Z to create a sneaker with Reebok?
It wasn't really hard to convince him. Nike at the time didn't believe in music as performed. Nike was very disciplined to its manifesto about athletes and performance. They wouldn't mess around with anybody else. So an artist, the most you can get from Nike was some free sneakers.
Right.
They wouldn't do business with you. There was no commercial opportunity. And Jay-Z knew, like the great ones do, that he was moving the culture. Okay? So when he told everybody we wearing button-up shirts, we're going to change clothes, that was happening. If he did a pair of sneakers with Reebok, forget Reebok's whatever they were, if he puts his name next to it, they're going to buy his sneakers.
Right.
And he didn't have any self-doubt that, forget Nike, I could do this with them. And by the way, while he was wearing his sneakers and selling his sneakers, sometimes he'd wear Nike too. And he's like, people ain't going to believe me if all I did was wear my sneakers. I got to show them that I choose to wear my sneakers like I choose to wear those. It's an option. But like this whole idea, like only wear your sneakers. He knew that looks fake because that wouldn't be real.
Right.
What's real is I do like these. I also do like those. But it's creating an option, right? Which put Reebok in the conversation. So it didn't really take much convincing. The convincing was, getting a deal done, not if Reebok was the right company.
And he wasn't an ambassador, he was a partner.
No, Jay-Z's not the ambassador for anything except himself. He was a partner. He was a 50-50 partner.
That's the thing. Because a lot of times these brands will throw a large sum of money and an athlete or an entertainer will take that. It's like, okay, fine. But how do you convince them, like, take less of this and become partnership or equity stake?
Jay-Z understood that from the beginning because he was an independent artist.
Okay.
So when Jay-Z was selling music out the back of a trunk, which Master P did, which Birdman and Cash Money did, Luke Skywalker did. There's some great entrepreneurs who sold like literally hand-to-hand combat with distributing music. What they knew was whether they got there because they tried to get a record deal and then they got turned down, so then they had to just do that. They learned the margin was there. That was the first time you got a chance to look under the hood and realize, wait a minute, this thing that cost me, $1 to make, that I could sell for $16, all that money right there, that's mine. If I got a record deal, I'd be getting a small fraction of that. Once you learn that, once you see that, you can't unsee that.
Right.
So betting on yourself becomes the right thing to do because that's where the margin is. When I started United Masters, the whole point of building this company, our music company, was that I felt like artists should be independent. They should keep a lion's share of the money. They shouldn't give away their name and likeness because they got money when they was 18 years old or their first record deal. In order for that deal to be a good idea, the record company has to have more belief in you than you have in yourself. Right? Mm-hmm. Because they're basically saying, I'm giving you $500,000 and you're going to give me your name and likeness for the next 10 years or whatever the term is. You didn't even get a chance to find out what it's worth on your own.
Right.
Being independent, there was a period of time where it was hard to be independent. When those guys did it, not everybody was built for that. But today, while music is being distributed between Apple and Spotify, and you have a platform like United Masters that you can go through and put your music out and get it distributed everywhere, why would you not do that versus going to get a record deal, getting some money, but sacrificing, giving away all of the upside for a short-term check? It just don't make no sense.
But Steve, is it a case of I've always wanted a record deal. I've always wanted to work with a record company.
Yeah, it is that. By the way, 2 Chainz had the same argument with me years ago. He goes, you don't understand. I'm like, that's the dream. Well, the fact of the matter is, part of the dream is to get paid. That is not how you get paid. You're not going to get paid that way. Secondly, this is not 20 years ago where you had to take CDs and get them into all these points of distribution and print up a bunch of CDs. So your cost outlay was so hard, was so expensive because you had to make the song and make 10,000, 20,000 of these things. You were out a lot of money before you found out if it worked. You can find out if it worked for $50 right now, for nothing, essentially nothing. The cost of recording has gone down. You can sign up to a platform like ours for $60, put all the music out you want, and you find out if you ever hit. At least do that to find out if you want to make that decision. And then you have leverage when you make that decision later. Man, maybe I will get a record deal. But you already got a hit. So now they can't sit and tell you, well, we're betting on you. No. You know I got a hit.
Right. I already bet on me. Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party because we like to do something before 2 something.